Hello VC, I'm back with a short video just to show a few albums that have come in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to start off with a couple albums by the same group. The group is called The Kills, and this is an album by them called Blood Pressures.
Came to pass, glory passed me by. Fate with a single blow, his custard pied me now. True, I had my chance. True, I had those wild charms for you.
The second album I have by them, I think it's something fairly recent. This one is called Little Bastards, and it is basically a collection of demos, B-sides, and that were recorded, I think, between 2002 and 2009, I believe, and the stuff has been remastered. And this is a really good album, this one. I really like this album a lot. So this is a 2-record set on yellow vinyl. I really like the sort of minimalist approach to the songs on this album, and of course this band is sort of indie alternative, I guess you could describe them. A really good band. I really especially like this album. Both albums are quite good, but this is a really excellent album, worth checking out. And it just should mention too, all of the records I'm showing today came with a download card. That's a little bit unusual. Usually there's about 50% of the albums I get have a download card and the others don't. All these albums today do have a download card. So the next album I'll show is an album by The Mirrors. And this is a Fuzz Club selection, or sort of like a Fuzz Club session. This is a very good album, sort of classified, of course, these guys are sort of neo-psych. This album spins at 45 RPM, and it could be almost classified as an EP. There's 14 minutes of music on each side. Side A has 2 songs and side B 1 song. The song on side B is Note from the Underground, which occurs on their Borderlands album. So it's a question of, if you already own this album, do you need that one? It's hard to say. If you're a hardcore Mirrors fan like me, yeah, you probably do need both of them. But there's a little bit of overlap. Interesting about this, for whatever reason, every time I listen to this album, EP, whatever, the style of the music, whatever, it brings to mind an album by the Black Angels, the album Directions to See a Ghost. For whatever reason, I just hear the similarities between the two. Great album. This next album is a band that's fairly new to me. They're a German band. They've been around for a while, but I just sort of like discovered them lately, and I really don't even know how to pronounce their name that well, but it's sort of Combinat Robotron. The album is minus 270 Celsius. So this is, again, a band that gets classified under the neo-psych section. And this is interesting because a little bit hard to get this one. I had to get it, I bought it directly from a record store in Germany who had a website, but 100% in German, no English at all. So I used to have to cut and paste the text off the website onto, I don't know, it was Google's German to English translator to determine what I should be entering in all the fields for my address and all that. And nowadays it's a little bit tricky when purchasing from European vendors because there's been a change in the taxation system, the VAT, value added tax. It used to be if you're within that country, and I believe now it's if you're within the European Union, you got to pay the tax. So because I'm here in Canada, I don't have to pay the tax, but there's usually got to sort of dance around loopholes a little bit to avoid that. In the case of this record, they actually had to send me an invoice. What they did was they sent me an email saying go on to PayPal and pay this amount of money to this email, and we'll ship you the record, because they're not really set up for international sales. And this band has another record that's coming out very soon. I believe it's sort of readily available on some of the neo-psych sites that carry a number of albums. I'm trying to think of the name of the one in North America. It escapes me now. Like Fuzz Club is in Europe, and there's one in the Little Cloud. Well, I think Little Cloud has their new album. It's not out yet, but it's available for pre-sale. This next band here is one I think a lot of people are familiar with. The band is called Loop, and Array One. 1986, and then they broke up a while ago, so their albums now are, I guess, being all reissues. I ordered another album by that band as well, and but after waiting 5-6 weeks, the vendor indicated they actually didn't have it and issued me a refund, so I'm trying to get it from another vendor. On this particular album, 3 tracks on side A, 1 track on side B. 3 tracks on side A are pretty good. Some of the music puts me in mind of early Hawkwind, and a lot of guitaring. It's instrumental, and the side B, which has that 1 track, is more like ambient noise, I guess you could call it, which is stuff I'm not too keen on that much. So for me, this is pretty much like a one-sided album. That's the side B. I won't be playing too much. So this last album I'll show is actually by an individual who's on YouTube, who's been showing records from his collection for many, many years. I used to watch him years ago. He was the very first person that I used to watch videos on records. I don't know if you really call him part of the vinyl community, because I don't know if he gets involved with anyone else's channels or not. But the person I'm speaking about is Derek Higgins. He has a new album out called Future Still. So this is all sort of, well, electronic music, computer generated music, instrumental, no vocals. It's indicated here that the music was generated using a Reason software. So that software that you can install on your home computer and basically create musical tracks. I'm familiar with it. I had a copy of that software that fell off the back of a truck a number of years ago. Just played around with it a bit. Another software package that I had years ago that I just played around with was software called Cakewalk, at the time by a company called Sonar. And this is software you could put on your computer and basically just make music out of it. Just drag it onto the grid and add a few things to it. Away you go. So for this, like how I come to find it, like I used to watch Derek's channel almost every day years ago, and I actually bought an album from him years ago. It's called Flyover. And then around that time, he sort of went off on a tangent a bit. Instead of talking about music, he started spending a lot of his time on his videos sort of bitching about people, leaving negative responses on his video, or bitching about, I don't know, the government, the country, whatever. And it became apparent that it was becoming less about music and more about his bitching. So I just stopped cold turkey, and I hadn't watched his videos in 4 years, nothing at all. That's when I discovered a lot of great people out there on the VC, like Mr. Hall of Fame, Vinyl Richie. I've been watching all their videos since then. So anyways, what I do once a week is I go through Amazon and I just look at what's coming out, pre-releases, just see if there's anything interesting. And I came across this, and I said, Jesus, is that the guy from YouTube I used to watch? So I jumped on his channel for the first time in years, and I took the most latest video that he had posted, and I said, you know, is this you? And he replied with one word, yes. So I went on to Amazon, this is Amazon Canada, and I noticed that the price was pretty low. And I was thinking to myself, I bet you whoever's organizing this, they've got the US price on the Canadian website. And so I said, it's cheap, I'll order one record. And sure enough, so I placed my order, fine. I noticed a day or two later that the price had jumped $10. So I said, yeah, now that's more in line with Canadian prices. So I thought maybe they made a mistake. However, when I looked at it again, I think it was last night or the night before, it had been really discounted a lot. So I think they're just trying to move that record now. I think he said he had 250 copies. He's got at least one track posted on YouTube. You can check it out. As for my opinion, I'm not a big fan of electronic music anyway. I can take a little bit, Tangerine Dream, Edgar Froese, Kraftwerk, Jean-Michel Jarre, those guys a little bit. But, I mean, music that, you generate on your home PC, whatever. I mean, I've done that in the past, just goofing around, and the album's okay. It's not great. When it comes to like electronic music, the stuff that I do like tends to be from soundtracks. Two electronic albums that I think are absolutely fantastic. One is Contagion. The other is Blood Machines. These two albums really set a mood. I mean, you can find fantastic music on these electronic albums, and they really sort of project an image of what's going on in the stories that were in that movie. So, it's an okay album. I got it cheap. Anyway, those are the albums that I got in this last couple of weeks. I've got a lot on order, and it's almost all Neil Syke, and it's coming from everywhere, all different places all around Europe. Oh, nothing from a couple from North America, but they're all pre-orders. So in some cases, the actual releases are not until November. So I think the records are going to be trickling slowly over the next 2-3 months. But some of them are really, really good. I've been able to preview some of the songs on there. Kundalini Genie has a new one coming out. The Snakes Don't Belong in Alaska. They actually had a hell of a time. They were late getting their album pressed. When it got pressed, it had the wrong labels on it, and the jackets were damaged. So the distributor sent it all back to the pressing plant, which happened to be closed for summer holidays. So I don't know when their record is coming out, and quite a few others. So we'll have to wait. It might be a while before my next video, since some of these records probably won't arrive for 8 weeks or more. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching, and have a great day.